Okay, we're live.
Oh, hey guys. How's it going? This is the Weekend Rewind number 5. This is the first one in the new house. I am the Black Lantern Brooklyn Vale. This is just sort of our little our unwind. We get to recap shows from the previous week, get to shoot the shit, talk about stuff, and we have different guests come on during the time. Last week, of course, it was the Wendy to our Lost Boys, Suzanne Summersvale. And today, our special guest is former Wrestling Trivia Showdown champion of the world, Jeremy JTH Hastings. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. It's kind of funny that I come on the week that there was no wrestling trivia whatsoever, but yeah, there was a lot of other great matches that happened this week, and I cannot wait to talk about them.
Absolutely. Joining us as well today, he's hatless today, which is great. Can't wait to see that video very soon. He is, of course, TM Smith. How are we doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. Busy day. I actually get to calm down for a second right now, so it ought to be good for the 20 to 30 minutes I can spare before I have to jump into some other shit. So,
Perfect. Also joining us today, guys, he is the producer today, the man behind the scenes. You can find him just about anywhere in the fan trivia league. He is, of course, the Canadian Nightmare, Mark Borich. Mark, how are you doing, man?
Pretty good. And once again, like Tim, I got more time, but at 8 o'clock, so in a little under 2 hours, head over to Full Metal Media for some Full Metal commentaries where we're watching the 94 Classic Street Fighter. And then
at least keep it a surprise to make it suspenseful, Mark. Have I taught you nothing?
Well, about what? I'm trying to get people excited for it. And also our double feature. It's not hard to figure out what it is, but I'll keep that a surprise.
Awesome.
But I can guarantee you'll laugh your ass off.
All right. And last but definitely not least, he is the commissioner of he's soon to be commissioner of Inner Geekdom. He created it, and now he's back for his second show in a row. Give it up, guys, for Caleb Mashed Potatoes. Caleb, how we doing,
man? Doing really good, man. Excited to get this chat going. There was a lot of big matches this week.
Absolutely. So, gentlemen, without further adu, before we even get to Jukebox, there was a little match that happened last week. I don't know if you guys heard about it. I think it was called the Free for All. 20 competitors came in. One person got a title shot to whatever belt they wanted. Something very little. But all kidding aside, there was a fucking fantastic match. Very stoked. Spoiler alert, by the way. Sandy the Sandman Robinson came in at number 2. And went all the way to take it down in a 2+ hour just gong show. I want to start first with Mark as the one competitor on the panel. What were your thoughts of the show in general?
I know how hard you guys worked to put in this together, and of course without actually looking at the questions or anything like that, I also helped you guys set it up as best as I could, as well being a competitor. But no, you guys, once again, I gotta commend you guys for the great job you guys did. Pretty much that ran smoothly. No major technical issues. Of course, there were some debatable when it comes to the questions and your rulings, which I may have disagreed with. Yeah. But once again, all in all joking aside, you guys did a great job. And
yeah,
I want to give you a standing ovation for that.
well, thank you. That's as a counsel, I know for myself, I'm very happy with how it went. There's a couple of controversial issues, but I think they were handled great and professionally, and I think that's actually a good segue to take it over to Caleb. Caleb, I know between you and myself, we were kind of the judges in that, but you took the reins more so calling those. So I know there was some Inner Geekdom stuff that was borderline, and you did a great job judging. What would you say how would you say the match went in terms of like judging wise and questions?
Well, I admit there were a few problems with the questions. Just that I typed those up really fast, and there were some errors there in some of the questions, especially the wrestling questions. I apologize for that. I don't know shit about wrestling. But in terms of the calls I made, I was just trying to abide by the general rule of thumb that's on the Schmodown, which is the pronunciation is what's important. And so that's like how I'd always call things. I don't know.
Yeah. No, and I believe that a fair match was called the entire way. Got to keep it professional, especially when there's 20 players competing. There can't be any sort of leeway or whatever. So you got to draw a line, and I believe that line was drawn. I now kick it over to Jeremy. Jeremy, you unfortunately were not able to compete, but I'm not sure if you had a chance to watch it yet. So as a viewer, what were your thoughts?
As a viewer, it was a lot of fun to watch. Seeing Sandy have to go the entire distance was pretty great to watch. Being in the chat was pretty insane as well. And there was a lot of people in there that I was expecting to actually take part in the match that weren't there, like Alex and Chance. Of course, they were champions, so that made sense a little later afterwards. But one thing I'll address about the wrestling trivia stuff is obviously, being a wrestling trivia real high up on the rankings, I can probably attest to this. Me and Mark could probably explain this a little bit better because before we had our match that was aired last week, we were talking with Tim and Haven about what the difficulty of the questions should be, because unlike TV or movies or music, you can kind of learn about that stuff by accident. Like, you don't even really have to try, and you can learn stuff like that. Wrestling is a little bit different, where wrestling is something you can completely ignore and just block from your head. So there was a chance that there were people that would know absolutely nothing about that stuff. So it was kind of a problem of where the level of fairness should be when it came to the questions. Ultimately, I think they were a little too easy, but ultimately, when you have no idea how many of those players actually know any wrestling related stuff, it's kind of a cut and dry thing. It's kind of a fine line that you had to play. Ultimately, I think everything was done the best that they could. But overall, other than that, it was a hell of a match to watch. It was hell of a result. Seeing Sandy and Ryan at the very end. Fortunately, Ryan couldn't be with us. It would have been nice to get his take on it. But yeah, overall, Sandy, I think, tested and proved himself to be the best all-around player in the league so far. And I think there's really no debate about that right now.
Absolutely. And then, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just was agreeing. That's absolutely true. Sandy just came in and dominated every single round. I don't remember his total of perfect rounds, but I think it was like 4 or 5. Yeah. He was incredible to watch. It was an amazing match, and Sandy proved he's a threat. He can compete in any of these leagues and dominate.
Oh yeah, and also let's not forget his famous Andreyko moment where he took out 4 heavy hitters at the same time,
and then almost did it again.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it was insane.
Oh yeah, as one of the victims of Sandy in that Andreyko moment. I gotta get.
You didn't have to let it happen. You could have just missed that Steve Austin question. We would have all forgave you.
Yeah, Steve Austin.
I'm pretty sure
of all time.
I'm pretty sure he would have had to hand in his wrestling card and be like, "All right, guys, I'm done. I can't compete in wrestling anymore. I don't know who this Stone Cold guy is." So.
Yeah. In all honesty, I could have gone with $1 Million Dream or the Stun Gun, but
yeah,
I had to go with the Stunner.
Yeah. So before we get to our next match, gentlemen, just for shits and giggles, one question that I do have: what belt do you think Sandy will go after? I'll throw out my idea first. And this is kind of it's somewhat self-centered, but I do think he's going to come after the music.
Everyone. Sorry, people are starting to join in the chat now.
Oh, awesome!
Oh,
Hey, Robert. Hey, Jessica.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah. So I think in terms of Sandy going after a belt, I think he's going to go after music. I thought in free for all he had at least an above average performance in Jukebox. And I think with the championship, with the tournament coming up in March, that could be a good opportunity for say if he's in a tournament that he loses, then he's like, all right, well, I'm just going to use this to play the winner. Not just my own thoughts. But let's kick it over to let's go back to
that. Tim, what were your thoughts?
He's eating right now, so that's why I had his mic.
I just saw him doing that now. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As soon as you.
The thoughts on what
the free for all.
Whole free for all. I mean, it was honestly the first time we've done an event that big. So there was going to be a lot of concerns and questions for could we pull it off? Could we do it? Could it be done? And we proved yes, and yes. Granted, of course, there was going to be concerns with the questions. That's a given for anybody.
Yep.
So no matter what, you were going to have people lodging their complaints, some more verbally and aggressive, Alex, like others.
I was too.
You have a cough there? You have a cough there, Tim? I wasn't sure.
Oh no. That was just a plain downright statement of the betrayer that wanted to start a group and then leave it, but that's my own personal things I'll save for later. But overall, it was good. It was a good product. Production-wise, of course, it could have maybe some of the entrances in and out could have been a little bit faster, but for having 20-plus people live, it was a great thing. And question-wise, you guys did have to scramble at the end with some of those questions because, especially with the Inner Geekdom for the original questions that were had, Caleb, you and Brooklyn did an excellent job pulling the right questions we needed. And it was an overall success for it. And so we can move along. I'll get to it real quick. I think Sandy would go – I don't think he would go after his best friend in the Movies Championship. I think he would go after either Inner Geekdom or music or TV. I don't think wrestling, but I think one of the other three.
Yeah. All right, let's kick it over to let's go to Caleb next then. What are your thoughts on his title shots?
I don't know. It's interesting. I think what he would, as somebody who knows Sandy pretty well, I think like when he first joined our league, he was like he said IG was what he wanted first. And he's been great in IG, so I know I'd love to see him go against Chance. I think that'll be another battle for the ages. Like, especially with that free for all performance, he could dominate Chance, and I really want that.
Yeah.
Mark, I always love when Chance loses.
Nice. Yeah, I remember the first match of Jukebox Trivia. Chance went in at 6-0, and he lost. He lost the inaugural Jukebox match to Haven. So that was it's pretty nice to see on a host perspective. Mark, as somebody who works with Sandy more so over Full Metal Media, do you have any inside scoops maybe as to what ones he's leading towards?
I've got no. He's keeping quiet on it for sure. I do think he'd like to really test his merit in Inner Geekdom when it comes to taking on Chance, though. I think that's what he might do. It's like he would really want to test himself, and all the power to you, buddy. If you win that match, you right now, every match you played it in 2018, you've won. Even beforehand, I think you've won your last 7 or 6 matches that you've been in, or 7 or 8 matches that you've been a part of it all throughout the leagues. Right now, you're on a roll, and I can't bet against you.
Yeah. Yeah, and then over to Jeremy. I'm not sure. Have you competed against Sandy like recently at all, or yeah, or what are your general thoughts on the matter?
Well, to answer the first question, no. Me and Sandy have actually never competed in anything. Well, mainly because wrestling is the only thing I've taken part in so far, but I would like to change that hopefully very soon. But as far as who I think Sandy would go after, Inner Geekdom would make the most sense, but at the same time, I think he's high enough on the rankings list that he probably feels he can get that title shot the old-fashioned way. He can just keep working his way up the rankings. I'm kind of in agreement with you, Brooklyn. I think Jukebox may be the best case scenario, just simply because the overall talent level, we haven't really determined yet how deep that field is. I think Sandy can probably feel he can take a shot at the Jukebox championship. And ultimately, with how he performed in the free-for-all, there's not really a wrong answer of any championship that he could challenge. But to me, yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I think Jukebox is probably the top step that he might be interested in going after.
Absolutely. Excellent. So guys, before that match that we had, there was the release of the much anticipated Inner Geekdom Championship match. We had the Titan Chance Ellison winning the championship over the Lion Leo Azevedo or Avezdo or Azevedo. There we go. Let's kick it off to Tim first, or I'm going to Caleb. I'm not sure if Tim's still eating or.
No, I'm still eating, but it's
okay.
I just mute the mic so you don't hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, I do want to say it was one of the best matches I had a chance of producing as well as heading for the short time. I am going to miss Inner Geekdom very much, but it's in its rightful hands. But yeah, it was a good match. It came all the way down to the end. That's what you want out of a championship match. You don't want it 2.5 rounds and then all of a sudden, oh, this shit's done. You know, it went down all the way to round 5, and Leo is a deserving champion. He showed that when he won the title from Steven.
Yeah.
And Chance showed he was a good #1 contender, winning that tournament and proving he deserved that title. So, over and all, great match from both competitors. Chance came out the better man, won. It's gonna be interesting to see his future.
Yeah. Now over to Jeremy. As a former champion in this league, obviously there are some responsibilities with holding the championship. Like obviously you have to defend it. What do you think? How long do you think Chance is going to be able to hold that title? Or even just like how many times do you think that he'll be defending it? Let's say this year.
That's a good question. I mean, Chance has really shown that he doesn't really have any weaknesses in Inner Geekdom. Depending on who challenges him, because I think the matchup with Leo really favored him because obviously they both know Star Wars really well. That's kind of their key specialty. But I think Chance knew a little bit more in Star Wars than Leo did. I think that was kind of the determining factor. At the same time, even getting Star Wars in that match, Chance really wasn't really able to put him away, and it came down to the very end. But Chance is the kind of guy that he can make a really good run with that championship. He can have a Patriots style run. He can have 3, 4, 5 successful title defenses. It's ultimately just going to come down to a person that maybe has some strengths that maybe he doesn't have, so they can find some way to combat Chance in that manner. But as far as if you want me to just throw a number out, that's I think he can go on a good 3-4 defense run before somebody finally gives him a good run.
Absolutely, I think that's definitely doable on his end. Caleb, I'll kick it over to you next. As somebody who created the tournament, do you feel that was a match that capped off the tournament well?
Oh, absolutely! It was everything I wanted. Leo, he's deceptively humble. So like he he's not often favored in the matches, and yet he snuck through and won the championship from Steve. And had a dominant performance for all the way up to this match. And then you had Chance coming in and winning the tournament against the Murderers Row. I mean, in that tournament was Sandy, RJ, and
Alex.
And Alex. Thank you. Like those guys are very strong competitors, and I know they're going to be coming after Chance like with a vengeance. So I think JTH is being a little generous there, because I think, like I said, Sandy easily could take that belt from him, and I think Alex could too, given the right circumstances.
There's also one other. I'll get to my thoughts in a second. There's one other person that you're missing that debuted after the tournament, and he's in the chat right now. Robert Parker is not someone to.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Robert, I know you're a killer in that division. I faced you in that division in a different league. I know how bad you are. Sorry, how badly you have a good chance. That's not even making any sense, but whatever. You've got a great chance to take out Chance. Chance, you need to change your name, because Chance is a word you say too often. Chance.
Yeah. It's the new Jack of all trivia drinking game. Whenever somebody says Chance,
oh yeah,
you got to drink.
Oh yeah, no. My thoughts that also with the title match, it's just like, yeah. Once again, like Leo, you had a great performance, but it's Chance. Chance is scary. There's a bunch of scary people like Sandy, Robert, Alex, RJ, Kane. Kane's been proving himself ever since he's taken more of an active interest in it. So there's a lot of people. Caleb, you need to have a match, and you will be scary in that also.
Yeah, that's the plan.
I would also throw in. We'll chat about him later, but I would also throw in Grant's name into that. I know he's only had one match. But he can. If you watch the particular match of him against me, he could. He can be a wrecking machine very easily. So now we go to Monday. Monday was of course Jukebox night, and we had a newcomer triple threat match. We had Brian taking on JD as well as Hunter, and Brian put on a very dominant performance. I think went 6 of 8 in round 1, and then had a really good round 2 with Green Day, and then he got the TKO. I'll kick it over to Jeremy first. I'm not sure. I know you have an expressed interest in having a Jukebox match. Outsider on an outsider opinion. What were your thoughts if you had the chance to watch this match?
I did, and Brian kicked some serious ass. I mean, to say it at the very least. Hunter. I mean, Hunter is Hunter. I mean, I'll give him all the credit. He came in and he tried what he could, but I mean, his holes in his music knowledge were very apparent. And same thing with JD. JD, I think he did the best he could too, but Brian just showed that he's on another level of everybody. And it's kind of surprising that he didn't get in the league a little bit earlier, because he's definitely a person that I think can definitely contend at the very top when it comes. I mean, he was getting questions from all different genres, all different decades. So I think a person with that overall knowledge when it comes to the Jukebox trivia is definitely a person to be reckoned with. And that's exactly what Brian is.
Yeah. All right. Let's go over to Mark next. Then, would you? I know myself personally. I would like to see JD compete again. I think he has the potential to have a solid performance. I don't think he had a bad luck there in questions. Who would you like to see? If I had to book an opponent next for JD, who would you like to see compete against him?
I'm actually not too sure, but like once again, like I'm friends with Brian, and I know, and the music division's definitely one of his strongest divisions. That I just watching that, like you definitely can't go wrong. Like Brian, the music division's definitely your league. It's for the most part, it's the first time I've actually seen a match because like I'm not that musically involved. I'm not too much of a music person, so. But like for a match like that, it was a fun match to watch. And Hunter, no need to hang your head.
No,
it just wasn't your night, buddy.
Yeah. I'll go over to Tim next. With Brian's dominant performance, what do you see for him in the future? Like, do you see him taking on maybe a Caleb, maybe a Sean, maybe a Jeremy, someone else, some of these other guys who are 1-0?
You could have that, but I still think that would be more of a testing ground compared to the equivalent of Mike Tyson fighting 2 infants. Because that's what that match was. It was Mike Tyson picking up 2 infants by the head, biting their ears off, bashing their heads against each other, making them more retarded, and then throwing them in a dumpster.
Okay, can I ask one thing? Can we not use that word? Only because I have a.
But I mean, just to say, if you put him against Caleb or Sean, that would be more of a testing because Hunter and JD were stepping into just like completely obliterated. You know, you could tell they're not going to be on like that same level. Like, I give them all the credit in the world for stepping in, doing it, but I want to see Brian up against like Sean, like Sandy, like maybe like a Jeremy, who can go those harder music questions with him to see if that wasn't just a fluke, if he can actually continue on in that league, because he needs more of a showing of like stronger competitors before you can really say, okay, this is like an heir apparent to the title.
Yeah.
Granted, the title's vacant to be determined holds the title, but still.
That vacant guy is actually a two title holder right now. He holds the Jukebox and the TV championship.
You know what? No. That's some Adam Nation shenanigans right there, Brooklyn. That's what that is. And yes, I'm using your key sentences.
I want to thank Copster for joining us last minute. Great addition for the show. He's bringing in the views. Last but certainly not least, Caleb. Caleb, as somebody who has the W, has the W in Jukebox, do you think that Brian's performance was worthy of some notice, or do you think that he just kind of break into opponents that were maybe not of his caliber?
I give all credit in the world to Brian. He might not be the nicest guy ever to play, but he knew his stuff. He was dominant through every round. He didn't have to answer any in round 3, I don't think, right?
No.
It was like TKO from both of them, yeah.
Yeah, I got the score. It was a TKO after the second round.
Yeah, it's like the guy's a beast. He really knows his Green Day. I did have a little bit of an issue with your guys' decision to not award Good Riddance to JD, because he did say the title is Good Riddance. The subtitle is Time of Your Life. But other than that, I thought it was a great match. I'd like to see JD again. I think he got a little flustered and kind of blew it. But he had a decent game. Like, he knew some stuff. I'd like to see him back.
Yeah, I know that he had expressed interest in a country music match against a buddy of mine. But I would, if that match was to officially be promoted and booked, I would gladly write questions for that. I'm a huge fan of the gimmick matches. Yeah, so I would think that would be a good one to do. There's country. I know Hunter had expressed interest in doing a rap match. He was trying to find an opponent.
He doesn't want any of that, man. He doesn't want it.
All right, guys.
So, Brooklyn, a big fan of the West Texas Rednecks, are you?
No, there's actually a buddy of mine, Peter McDougal. That guy knows his modern country very well.
Oh, I'm talking about an old WCW country stable with Kurt Hennig and.
Oh, okay. I'm
Just making a
I'm not sure if you watched my only WTS performance, but me and WTS is like Hunter in everything except WTS.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Brooklyn, but
going hard on Hunter.
It was like you saying
nice.
I'm going to swim in that watering hole without swimming a day in your life.
Yeah, pretty well.
You were just like gung ho and.
I mean, he did go into it saying that he was going to be the jobber.
Yeah. But in our second wrestling debate, you had a good performance against Haven. So
that's speaking of which, Jeremy, I would like to either be a judge or be another competitor. I want wrestling debates back. I think the two shows that you had were great. They're very emotional and impactful. So if you ever decide to bring that back, I will not be mad whatsoever. I'll be very ecstatic.
Thank you very much. Means a lot.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. So that takes us on to Tuesday. Tuesday we had two matches. We had Grant versus Robert.
Yeah, Grant and Robert, and
then Sean versus the King. Is he still referred to as the King, or are we?
Oh, I think hey, they're two separate people, two different personalities. So, what can we say? The King versus the Kid.
Yeah. So okay, I see Tim is confused. It's
been a long week. It's been like a long 2 weeks. Was it last week that it was the match you, Sean, and Sandy gave me?
Yeah. The week before.
Okay, long week. I apologize, folks.
Yeah, Tim has a hard time counting past 2, so you might have seen some smoke going up on his side. So I do apologize.
It was like I can produce Oscar-worthy YouTube gold, but I can't.
He's
remember.
Like I can't.
Yeah, I can't remember shit. Sorry, folks.
All right, guys. So I think let's kick it over to JTH first. That first match of Sean versus the King Caleb. Sean pulling out the W there. Once again showing an elegant, a very, very great performance against Caleb. What were your overall thoughts?
I mean, Sean played as good as I kind of expected him to, but when it came to Caleb, got a little bit of insight on that because I was actually on the most recent Full Metal Trivia match that he was also on. That I somehow, by the grace of God, managed to get a tiebreaker on him that still dumbfounds me to this day. But after that match was over, I mean, Caleb and I were kind of chatting along with a couple other people, and we were, testing some trivia questions for some other leagues that will remain nameless. And I was shocked. I mean, he was just knocking out question after question after question with ease, and I was just thinking, my God, whoever he ends up playing next had better watch out because he might steamroll them. And then I saw the match, and I was just dumbfounded because I can't understand Caleb for some reason. When the spotlight's on him, he just doesn't play as well as I would expect him to, because there was a lot of questions I think he knows that he should have got that he just flat out missed. And based on what I saw that night, it didn't really make any sense to me. It almost has to be nerves when it comes to Caleb, because there's no doubt in my mind that he should be playing better than how he performed in that match against Sean. But, maybe next time he'll learn from that and just go in and just decide to play loose, feel like he has nothing to lose. And I think Caleb could be much better. But that showing that he had against Sean, I don't think really is a testament to how well his movie knowledge actually is, because it's much greater than what he actually showed on Tuesday.
All right, so now I'm gonna kick it over to Mark. Mark, it's no secret you're not the King's biggest fan. Do you agree? What are your thoughts on JTH's thoughts? Do you think that was a subpar performance by Caleb, or do you think that was really his best effort?
Ooh, I think that could be probably his best effort right there. And going up against Sean, that's a risky hill you got to battle up. But unfortunately, you don't have the victories to prove it. So, and like I've said, that's probably your best performance. So, what can we say? Unfortunately, with me, I need to get a match with you. I've been calling you out since July of last year. Almost over a year and a half. Sorry, over half a year now. I've been calling you out, trying to get a match with you. But now, my only you don't have any victories in movies, so I can't get the match with you in movies because I'm 2-1. You're 0-14? Inner Geekdom.
So,
I have a little bit of a chance to come up against you there, so I gotta go through number 7 to get a solid number 10.
Yeah. All right. So now I go over to Caleb. Caleb, what are your thoughts on Mark's thoughts that were based on Jeremy's thoughts?
Oh, that's such a complex question. I don't know if I can handle that. I don't think that was the best we could have seen out of Caleb. Oh, I hate calling him that. Why did I do that? Little misspelled piece of shit.
Lies. When it's my turn, I'm telling the truth. Don't lie.
That kid is. I love to hate that kid. But yeah, I don't know. That was a pretty weak performance. He just kind of gave up in round 2. But on the other hand, Sean was dominant. He had a really good showing. I mean, we all expected him to. The guy knows his stuff. But yeah, it was a good match. Like I said, I just think that the King kind of, I don't know if he got caught up in the lights, but he just kind of, it seemed like he gave up in round 2.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always unfortunate to see. And I think it might have been as well he might be tired of his heel gimmick, and I know we'll kind of get that into the next match. So I'm going to give a countdown of 5, and then once we get to 1, TM is going to go into rage mode. So we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
I don't know about rage mode here, but Brooklyn, stand back and watch how it's done, kid. Here's the thing. As much as we hate Caleb, we love to hate him. He is a good villain. The real reason why Mark is pissy with him because he's being replaced as the best villain. Granted, Caleb can't stack up the wins. Okay, I get that. But still, throughout what? Brooklyn, you weren't there. Caleb, you were. With me and you and Kane doing his and Robert's match.
Yeah.
What did I tell you? How many people were cheering to want a piece of him? Everybody. Everybody loves him as a good villain.
6 or 7 people in the first half hour of that
all 16 people in that chat.
Who is the only person who has to work to get a match with him? Who's the only person who has to put in some effort?
You have to lose. All you have to do is lose.
No, I have to win. I have to win.
Ranking because you want a piece of him. Because you're jealous because he's the better villain now. Because people love him more as a villain than they love you as a villain.
See, crash and burn. He's going to fan out too quickly.
And I'm going to laugh if he beats you because you go into a match against him. Whenever you get that shot, you go in cocky and he slaps you in the teeth for it. I'm going to laugh.
As much as I hate to admit it, I have to agree with Tim. Caleb is he's a really good heel promo-wise. Trivia, he sucks, but that's the pot calling the kettle black.
You got to back it up.
Yeah, it's the pot call. Yeah.
Yeah, and real quick, I got to go. I am whoring my services out to the less fortunate YouTube streams out there, like I did to a few others while helping build ours. But guys, have a great rest of the show. JTH, I can't wait to see you back again in the ring or just bullshitting with us. Mark, good luck on your commentary. Caleb, I'll probably talk to you tomorrow because I think we have a meeting. And Brooklyn, congratulations on the house.
Thanks, man.
Enjoy it. Break it in. Hink. Wink, wink. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, but you guys have fun. I want to head out.
All right, Tim, before we go, I need that video out by next week. There's a little video you need to put out, right? Remember? There's a bet that we had, huh?
Yes? You know what? Okay, KTH, Mark, Caleb, whatever I said, I meant it. Brooklyn, go fuck yourself. See you all later. Yep.
All right.
See you all.
All right, guys. TM, the Dallas Cowboys loving motherfucker. All right, so that takes us into to the next match on Tuesday. That would have been Grant versus Robert, correct? Yeah, Grant versus Robert.
Yeah,
and that was Grant pulling out the win. That's a match like Vegas odds. Like that would have been a pick 'em. Like the line was just so close. Caleb, like I just seeing your thoughts right now. Obviously you were a fan of that match. I was a fan of that match. What were your overall thoughts?
Oh, that match was incredible. It was insane. It was all other adjectives. Oh man, I'm flabbergasted. Robert is, like I've said this before, Robert's one of my favorite competitors to watch in any league. That he's a champion in a different league. And he deserves it, man. He's dominant every time. I think he only missed 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah.
And then like Grant came in and we knew he knew comics and like geeky stuff, but I had no idea. I mean, his performance at the free for all was could give some indication, but man, it was it was just breathtaking watching that. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Those guys were going back and forth like more than a fucking seesaw. It was great.
Yeah. To kick it over to Mark next. I know, Mark, you were kind of half announced as a member of their new faction. So what were your thoughts on Grant's performance overall?
When did that happen?
That happened.
I did not know that. I didn't even know I was a part of the group.
No? Okay. Maybe I might have prematurely spoiled something. I'm sure I will get a slashing in the comments.
Okay, well I gotta hear I guess
I'm pretty sure that stuff might have been said off camera and then you remembered it wrong.
Possibly. But as far as I know, Mark, I'm just lying. That'd be the best way to describe it. Like I don't mind being wrong.
Yeah, I actually have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so
I know me and Sean are teaming up in a different league, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but like, hey, no, but like, yeah, I know. I am friends with Sean and Grant, yeah, so I'll always root for them. But good God, that match was a hell of a match.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just go back to that statement. We're talking about Atomic Nation, right? That's what we're talking about.
I thought they were Sons of Apocalypse or something like that.
Never mind. I was trying to save the conversation, but I guess not. But anyways,
I have no. All right. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here.
Okay, Jeremy, save us here.
Come on, everybody's Adam Nation.
You done.
Everybody in
I have not pledged my allegiance to some goody faction. Okay, I can definitely confirm. Alpha Club, Atom, Atomic, or whatever, goodies. I'm not a part of you. I can't deal with goodies.
Right.
That's all I can confirm.
All right, Jeremy, get us back on track here. Do you think this loss crippled Robert, or do you think he's going to come back with vengeance?
Oh, with a performance like that, I don't know how I don't know how you could fall apart with a performance like that. I mean, the final score was what, 27-26, if I remember correctly.
I believe
it was
so, yeah.
absolutely insane.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I've gotten permission now. Yes. Apocalypse.
But
also, sorry.
Also on a side note though, back to the match. For those that don't know, that probably aren't aware, the round 2 concept that's used in a lot of these trivia matches on here, whether it be jukebox or movie, was actually a concept that I first came up with, that I planned to do in a wrestling. But of course, at the time, that nobody could figure out how it would work, and so they just chose to establish it and everything else. And when I came up with that concept, I visualized this match, just seeing 2 guys going back and forth, just knocking off name after name after name, and it almost brought a tear to my eye just seeing how well that round played out, because that's how I always envisioned how that played. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was absolutely insane match. I mean, Grant, Caleb said it himself. I mean, the free-for-all, I think, really showed how well-rounded he was as a player. I don't think we really noticed it until this match. And Robert was, as good as advertised. I mean, one incorrect question ended up making all the difference in that match. But where both of them go from here, I mean, to me, the sky's the limit for both of them. And I can't wait to see where either of them go after this.
Yeah. Okay, so that leads us into Wednesday. Wednesday, there was nothing. It was a bye week for wrestling. I know JTH, your match is coming up soon against Hunter. Just maybe quickly, what are your thoughts on that matchup coming?
Well, I've heard a lot of people, including everybody on this panel, that's pretty much just wrote Hunter completely off. But I would give the old not so fast, because the first time that me and Hunter played, funny story, Hunter actually forgot that we'd actually played. And ironically enough, it was also a number 1 contenders match that was to face Mark, oddly enough, for his championship at the time. And to everybody that says that he doesn't really have a shot, we should probably go back and watch that match, because it is very clear that there are categories that Hunter is better at in wrestling than me. And that's a fact. I mean, it's not even debatable. In round 1, he was leading me, and in round 2, we were tied. So to anybody that thinks this is going to be a cakewalk for myself, really needs a reality check. And unfortunately, I think I'm talking to everybody in this chat right now. But yeah, ultimately, I do believe if I play the game that I'm capable of playing, I do think that I can win. But I'm going to need to have everything go my way, or else Hunter is going to shock everybody, just like Nico did a little while back. So hopefully I can get the job done. But it would not surprise me if Hunter got the job done. But apparently it would shock everybody else.
With yourself, I've had 3 matches against you, and I've had 2 matches against Hunter. I'm probably and Hunter's like, wrestling is his strength league, without a doubt. Like, he for the most part, he does know stuff, but it's like I said, I give this slight advantage to you, A, for history, and B, just to, my experience with both you guys. But it's just like, you do have to be a little careful with Hunter.
Yeah, I think definitely Hunter, like, especially lately, he's like, there was just the Schmodown Awards, I'd give him most improved. Like, the reason it's frustrating to me is, like, I didn't think that his record is nearly as good as yours. I just didn't think the records lined up. But he's been really good lately. And like JTH said, he's shown some weaknesses. There have been a couple. And Hunter could easily exploit them if given the opportunity. I don't know how much JTH has been studying WCW, but I know for a fact that Hunter has.
Yeah.
Well, I know WCW is one of JTH's strengths, though, because it's when it comes to
Sure about that?
most other people.
Maybe compared to other people, but me personally, I wouldn't say it's a personal strength. I mean, there's tons of things I would probably put ahead of WCW, but my performance against Nico would probably prove that.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was referencing. But yeah, but I don't know. I'm not counting Hunter out. I just think that JTH has proven to be somebody who's on the top tier of this league. He's the one-time champion, and his record is great. I would have thought he would have been facing somebody a little more scary, somebody whose record has been hot lately. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Mark.
No. Sorry. Just like the only other person I can think of is Harry, who's more than likely probably maybe one more match and then
he's 3-0, right?
Yeah, like he's at the time he was I believe he was 1-0 when this whole mini tournament stipulation was set up. So I think that's the case. Why? But he's definitely getting a future title shot.
Yeah, for sure. I think he could be a real threat in that league. And there's a few other people that I think could do some real damage.
Yeah. All right. So that takes us into Thursday's match. That was once again Grant taking on Jim. I know Jim was supposed to take on myself. I had to drop out due to personal reasons. But yeah, that was once again a really close match. Grant getting the victory, getting the second one of the week. Caleb, I know you were there for the match. What do you think of the thing that stood out for me in that match was actually Jim's performance in video game movies. Do you think that video game movies is going to be a category that is more chased after, or do you think it's going to be more so the landmine that it's known to be?
I don't know. A lot of times video game movies have been the thorn in people's sides for their perfect rounds and stuff like that. But I mean, Jim came out and had a perfectly passable performance. He swept it, didn't he? He had to go to multiple choice twice. No, he gave up 1 point. He gave up the Mario Brothers point. But I mean, he navigated that tricky new category. But that being said, being a new category, the questions when you start writing a new category, the questions are generally a little easier until you have to go deep dive in. So I think he lucked out on both of those things.
Yeah.
And did pretty well. And then Grant just, again, had a really good performance. Had a couple of slip-ups, but for the most part was really good. He was, again, a pleasure to watch him work. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, let's kick it over to Jeremy next. Jeremy, your overall thoughts on the match.
Overall, I thought the match was pretty good. I was actually really impressed with how Jim fared, because obviously I'd seen him perform in a wrestling. Didn't have the best performances, so it was going to be kind of interesting to see how he fared in the other leagues. And overall, he had a really good performance, even though he didn't come out on the winning end. Definitely showed that he, just like Robert, despite a loss, definitely somebody you don't want to face, don't want to be on the other side of the chat room of. I'm going to be interested to see where Jim goes, because that's a loss that almost looks as good as a win, because when you can take Grant to the limit, a guy that's very well balanced in all facets of trivia, you pretty much said that you're here and you're ready to compete against all comers. And Jim, when it comes to IG, was definitely not the first name that I would think of when it came to possible contenders in the IG league. But after that performance, I'm really looking forward to see where he can go. And Grant, again, I've already said it before, the sky's the limit. No telling where he can go after that performance.
Absolutely. So I believe that now takes us to today. Pardon me. So there's actually with GTH on here, there was a couple things that I actually wanted to talk about before we get into events in the future, and that was actually the Royal Rumble match of the good old WWE. That was the whole reason that we had the free for all this weekend, because Royal Rumble weekend was weekend past. Of course, TakeOver Philadelphia, and then the pay-per-view itself. TakeOver had a really good final match in Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas. I caught the last half of it, and even that last half was like, holy shit! Like it deserved the 5 stars that it got from Meltzer. And then the Royal Rumble itself, it was a good pay-per-view. Definitely better than the last few. People would say also as well the women's ending, it kind of took away from Asuka's win. But the wrestling aficionado on the panel, Jeremy, who do you think won the weekend, TakeOver or the Rumble?
I think overall, I'd probably have to give the slight edge to TakeOver. I mean, just the overall match quality, I think, put it ahead of the Rumble. But the Rumble was a great event as well. I think it was probably one of the best weekends of wrestling pay-per-views that WWE/NXT had put on in a long damn time. As far as the Rumble goes, there really wasn't a whole lot of bad spots when it came to the overall card. The only real nitpick that I would probably say is that I thought the match card was a little bit unusual. There was some things that I thought the Rumble should probably have been a little bit later in the show, especially with some things like, i.e., for those that don't know, but I'll bring it up. There was the Jason Jordan thing with Seth Rollins, where Seth Rollins was in the Rumble, but Jason Jordan wasn't. And we were wondering, well, why the hell was that? And then, of course, we saw the Raw tag title match where they did the Jason Jordan concussion angle. And I'm watching that, and I'm like, oh, that's why he wasn't supposed to be in the Rumble. And, yeah, it was just completely mucked up. The match card didn't really make a lot of sense from that aspect. And also with Nakamura winning, while I was great that he won, but again, the fact that the Rumble was so low on the card, it's kind of WWE's way of saying that we don't think that him winning is a big deal, which is absolutely asinine, because Nakamura winning is an absolutely huge deal with him going on to face AJ Styles at WrestleMania now. And Asuka winning was absolutely a wonderful thing to see. I got to actually watch it with Malcolm Lay, who everybody on here I'm sure knows. And we were marking out left and right everything that we saw, all the returning superstars that came back. It was 2 thumbs up on TakeOver, 2 thumbs up on the Rumble, and really made the road to WrestleMania very, very exciting to see.
Yeah. The one thing for me personally, that I hated about like the men's Royal Rumble was that once again they put fucking Roman Reigns at number 28, and you don't need to put him last. You don't need to put him last. You don't need to have him at the number 2. Like, that pissed me off royally, and I was like why are you still trying to book that motherfucking Samoan bastard as like this, like, and it sucks because aside from the shitty booking, he's actually a good wrestler. He has some good reversals, and he is good. It's just, like, I like to quote King Ross, Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men, and Roman Reigns is his prized possession of big sweaty men. I just wish they could have used like Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, John Cena would have been okay, but I think the match sheet itself, once they're in the final 2. I want to kick it over to Caleb. Caleb, you are admittedly not a huge wrestling fan. Did you get a chance to catch any of the matches this weekend?
I didn't get to see the takeover. But I did watch the actual Rumble matches, both the men's and women's, and yeah, I definitely agree with the Roman Reigns thing that you said. Man, that guy just kind of I don't know. He's like no charisma. I don't know why he's so like why he's always being pushed. I thought it was a lot of fun. I will say that I think Kofi Kingston's save this year was a little weak.
On side note of that, though, I did call that was going to happen.
I kind of liked it. It was like it was something. It was something I kind of forgot about was going to happen. Then I was like, oh, that's that's kind of neat because like nobody's ever thought to just hop on one leg and
stand on pancakes.
Yeah. Very quickly before we get into the next topic, I'll ask both of you guys. It was announced on the pay-per-view that Shinsuke is going after AJ for his WWE Championship. How do you think that Vince McMahon and the McMahon family are going to book Asuka? Who is she going to face, and how are they going to deal with this whole Ronda Rousey angle? I'll go to Jeremy first.
I think ultimately, I think Rousey will probably face Charlotte, which probably makes the most sense considering. But at the same time, that does beg the question of what's that going to do with Asuka. In fact, because from what I have seen, maybe this is just my take, but it seems like the current Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss is getting lined up for a babyface turn, which kind of explains why they've been doing this whole thing with Strowman with her. Which, honestly, I wouldn't mind because she does have natural charisma and it is very easy to root for her. But then if they're going to do this whole thing with Asuka and it looks like Rousey is going to face Charlotte, you got to ask yourself, where in the world is Alexa Bliss going to face in all this? Because it definitely seems very obvious that they want to do something with Bliss. And the cards don't really line up what they're going to do right now. So that's probably the most interesting thing that I'm looking forward to seeing over the next couple of weeks because they've really kind of muddled the waters about what is going to happen with all these women's matches that are going to happen at WrestleMania. And it's really the one spot that I really can't give a definitive answer where I can say, yes, this is going to happen because Ronda Rousey coming in has kind of shook everything up, needless to say.
Yeah. Caleb, your thoughts?
I know I'd definitely prefer to see her Asuka take on Charlotte. I think that'd be way more fun, especially like JTH said with the possible face turn, which would be kind of a breath of fresh air, I think. And I just kind of like Charlotte Flair better. And then the Ronda Rousey stuff. I don't know, man. I wasn't super like blown away by that whole thing. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. Yeah, I think it'll be cool though.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree as well with GTH. I think that Charlotte and Ronda will have that clash, and then Asuka and Alexa will have their match. I think Asuka and Alexa would be the technical match, whereas Charlotte and Ronda would be kind of that slugfest similar to Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. That was actually kind of a surprise last year. But when you guys mentioned the Alexa face turn, the first thing that I think of is that when she turns face, it gives all the room for Sasha Banks to turn heel. and you caught a little glimpse of that at the end, at the near end of the Royal Rumble. And I would love for Sasha to turn heel. I think that she would do great in a heel. She'd have fun with this, and I think right now she's getting bored maybe with the face.
Can I just throw in one quick thing with that?
Absolutely.
The Sasha Banks character is a natural heel character. The boss, everything. She's never should have been a face as the character. That's. But other than that, go ahead.
No, that was just, I was just going to say, if you're going to turn Alexa face, which I think they should do, it also gives the incentive, because if you're turning somebody face, I think you should turn somebody heel. Sasha should go heel and should stay heel for a while. I think she has she has Miz heel potential. That's, and I like me personally, I look at Miz as the best heel promo wise in WWE. And the crowd goes to a hush. Okay, so that's the. I know Mark you kind of joined in there at the last part of our conversation. Any other quick thoughts with the Rumble?
The matches were, for the most part, a letdown. Like the actual match outside the Rumbles, with the especially the Brock Kane Strowman match. It was good. The best thing about it was the Strowman being a dumbass, and I'm going to knee you pretty hard in the face. Brock Lesnar goes, "Yeah, you're never. I'm going to show you why you never do that again." And you just see, like, Strowman just get punched really freaking hard. It was awesome. Outside of that, the match there was a little bit of a letdown. Like too many, there was too many finishers when it came used during the match, especially with the F5. I know they're saving the F5 to kick out for Roman Reigns, but just with doing a bunch of F5s for no reason, for the most part, kind of weakened it a little bit. But other than that, like the Rumbles themselves, like I had fun watching the women's one just for a bunch of the quote unquote legends. Granted, there were a good amount of legends in it, but like there were some that are like, no offense to Tori Wilson, but Kelly, you're not legends. You're not legendary women wrestlers at all. And the male one, it was kind of boring for me.
Legends in our hearts, though.
No, I gotta disagree. There was no Stacy Keibler. But Lita and Trish were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That helps. I was hoping for Ivory.
Awesome.
Hey, Jackie looks great for her. Definitely for her age, and like so. Like, okay, maybe Ivory will come in. I would have loved to have seen Ivory, but like I had fun watching it. But like I definitely wouldn't say either Rumble was my favorite Rumbles of all time. And the Royal Rumble is my favorite match. So
I would definitely say it's the best Rumble of the past 4 or 5 years. Like the last few have been shit.
Oh god, yeah, I know that. Like that's not saying much at all.
Dead. Oh, guys, who could be number? I remember watching. I remember watching the Rumble last year on a buddy of mine's place. He actually had a show, Never Over Live. They covered wrestling every week, and every pay-per-view they did live reactions. I don't think they're going on anymore, but I really hope they do come back because I want to get them on wrestling trivia. But I remember watching, and the speculation last year of number 30. It's like, okay, who could it be? It could be Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, all these dirty people. All you hear is dead. And
you just
like,
go,
and it was like, all right, it's over, it's done, cool, fuck this shit. Yeah, I've never seen so much salt in one room at the same, like, collectively.
No, I know the same thing in my place too, because like we have Rumble parties also. I know it's just like
So this is great. Now with once again with Jeremy being on here, I know he was active in the chats about this. But on Sunday, the Super Bowl, I know that my Giants unfortunately are not in it this year. They had to secure their tee times for the next couple of years. So so they wanted to get into the playoff contention nice and early. But it, of course, is the Philadelphia Eagles taking on those motherfucking New England Patriots.
Oh, Patriots!
I hate the Patriots. They're awful.
JTE.
Oh, sorry. The Patriots trivia team is okay, but the New England Patriots team are I hate with a glorious passion.
There's a football team called the Patriots.
Yeah, I hear they can let the air out sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah. I have to kick it over to our other resident football fan, GTH. Who do you want to win, and who do you think will win?
Well, who I want to win, I'm hoping for a scoreless tie because, to be quite honest, I'm really going to be struggling to watch this game. I have not felt as little buzz going into Super Bowl in a long damn time. I mean, I think I share the sentiment with a lot of people. I think we were all really rooting for Minnesota to get there just to feel what the atmosphere and the vibe was going to be.
Yeah.
Seeing Minnesota playing their own stadium with Tom Brady and the evil Patriots coming in. But ultimately, yes, the Patriots is obviously the safe pick to make. I really don't know how the Eagles are going to keep it close, to be honest with you. They might be able to, out of some form of miracle, be able to keep it close, but honestly, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Let's go over to Mark. What are your thoughts?
I don't know shit about football.
That boy don't know nothing about foosball.
Yeah, I know foosball, but I will be tuning in during the commercials.
Okay, so I have a question for you. I have a question for you similar to when we had Sue on last week. When I kicked over to Sue, I would ask her a question to see if she got it right. So my question for you, in football, how many points are scored for a field goal?
Well, I guess and in the CFL you can score the one.
CFL doesn't count. CFL is a windy day away from being golf. Boring as shit.
That's football.
Yeah.
How much downtime is the clock running for? And how much actual gameplay is the clock running for?
How much strategy is there in football? There's a lot of strategy in football.
I'm talking about the game clock. When there's a
huddle, all right.
Stop the clock.
All right. Makuga, you're stalling. So just say, even give me a guess. How many points are scored for a field goal?
I used to play football when I was a dumb young kid. Until I got smarter and I realized, why am I playing this? 3 points.
All right, thank you. The 3 points is correct. Caleb, I hope you know more about football than Mark. What are your thoughts going into this match? Oh, I'm sorry. Actually,
Caleb, how much points is scored in a touchback?
In a touchback?
Or safety. My bad. Safety. Yeah. Safety. How much points do you score for a safety?
2.
Oh.
Bonus question, and I think Jeremy can attest to this, or Jeremy can back me up because I'm not 100% sure of the answer. What is the symbol made when a safety occurs?
What the fuck? What did you say?
So you know how if you score a touchdown, they go like this. But if it's a field, say it's like a weight field goal, they go like this. What's the symbol they make for? What's the symbol that they make during a safety?
Safe.
Yeah, what Mark said. No,
yeah, that's it.
Dude,
Jeremy,
I'm a sitting at a bar, drinking, watching football fan. I don't pay attention to the refs.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they just make like a triangle.
I've seen many baseball games, and I've seen the umpires go like that all the time for safe.
Well,
but my opinion of the Super Bowl is anybody but the Patriots. Unless it's Green Bay, anybody but the Patriots and Green Bay. So it's the Eagles. I have to go with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Hey, Cal, do you know who the starting quarterback is for the Eagles?
No.
Oh crap! Isn't it that dog fighter Michael Vick?
No, that's like 6 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I mean, Nick Foles taking over for Carson Wentz, who tore his ACL or MCL? ACL, right?
ACL, yeah.
Yeah,
That sucks.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy about it like a couple days ago, and like for me, I think it comes down to Philadelphia's offense against New England's defense. I'm not sure what New England's defense is like, but I know Philadelphia has a really good defense. So I think on that, I think Philadelphia's D versus the dynasty like offense of Brady. I think that's gonna be the close aspect of it. But I think where it can lead one way is gonna be Philadelphia's offense versus New England's defense.
That's fair to say.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I noticed
yeah.
I noticed in the chat here it's pretty quiet. There's no questions at all here. Staying on track of the Super Bowl. Over under on 10% that we see another wardrobe malfunction with Justin Timberlake on the Super Bowl halftime show. I will take the slight over on 10%.
I think guaranteed he's going to at least make reference to it in his halftime show somehow.
Yeah. And Jeremy, what do you over under at 10%?
Yeah, I got to take the over. Maybe even if it's 11.5%, I think I'll take the over on that.
All right, and then one last question, guys, before we kick it off. I know, or before you kick it away. I know Mark mentioned earlier. Mark was a big fan of the commercials, so I'll mention mine and then I'll pass it around. What was your guys' favorite? What company does the best commercials? And I believe for me that has to be either Doritos or Budweiser. Budweiser has some really good heartfelt ones, but Doritos has some really funny ones.
Oh yeah.
Mark, what is your favorite commercial?
You stole my answers. Doritos and Budweiser.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah.
Caleb?
I don't know. Lately, there's been a lot of weird ones. I think Geico generally pulls out some fun stops in commercials. But yeah, in terms of like all-time favorite commercials, like the Budweiser frogs, specifically when they were like replace or when like the two lizards were trying to replace them.
What's up?
That was the greatest like series. It was like a whole like series of like 5 or 6 of those commercials. It was so good.
Oh yeah. Definitely for sure. And also, like, you can't go wrong with the "What's up?"
Yeah,
yeah.
And Jeremy, to close things off here, what are your favorite commercials to look forward to?
I think I'm trying to remember. I knew it was a beer commercial, but I'm trying to remember which brand it was. But it was the one a little while back where it was the fist bump was out, and the fist bump turned into a slap to the face, and then they just turned into a complete montage of everybody slapping each other in the face.
Was that Bud Light?
So that was a good one. One that is pretty clear in my head because that was when the Ravens were in the Super Bowl several years ago. Was it was kind of an oddball one because they don't usually put out Super Bowl commercials. Was the Oreos commercial where they were all brawling in the library, but they were all whispering while they were beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, I know. Just because we're recently talking about wrestling, also. Back in '99, you had the infamous halftime heat match between The Rock and Mick Foley, Mankind, for the title, and also the WWF Attitude commercial. I've always been entertained by that one there, where they're talking about how family friendly they are, and there's just chaos going on back in Titan Towers. That's another one of my personal favorites.
Nothing used to be better though than when the halftime show was going on. Turn on MTV and watch a celebrity death match's Death Bowl.
Yes. Austin and McMahon. Like, oh my gosh, celebrity death match. I love that one.
It was such a good show. I love that.
It's like a forgotten gem. I can't believe how many people don't remember that show. It like brings a tear to my eye.
Did you know there was a video game?
Oh yeah. No, a video game. They brought it back for like 2 seasons, like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible.
That was
I don't want
good.
to bring that part.
We'll just stick with the originals, please.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're gonna call it a day. There's no questions here in the chat. It's pretty quiet. All right. So
did you want to talk
Oh.
about the Schmodown real quick? The first match dropped.
Sure. Yeah. The whole reason why we're here, why we're competing.
I'll be right back. I'm working on some other stuff for trying to get stuff going. So I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, so the old Schmo Diddly No Down. Oh, yeah.
Oh no, he's back.
So yeah, it was okay. There we go. Oh, he's there we go.
Yes,
love that shirt.
Oh yeah,
that shirt is awesome. I know myself personally, I was rooting for JTE, but holy shit, Rachel put on a goddamn clinic. Like really not showing any sort of weakness in categories. What were your like the thing other than Cushing's performance? What was glaring to me was Kalinowski. To be kind of frank about it, shit the bed. Jeremy, I know you put in a video reacting to the match itself, but what stood out to you more, Cushing's dominant performance or Kalinowski's lack of?
The fact that I scored more points than Kalinowski, that was the big one. I have no idea what happened with that. It was just dumbfounding to me. JT played really good too, considering. But it's Rachel. It's Rachel's the entire story. Sam Levine talking about how he got to pull a rabbit out of his asshole. He's got to do it again. Of course, he's talking about the rabbit foot. He's not talking like something like shit or something like that. But Rachel versus Sam. That's going to be fun to see, and I think you already know who I'm going to be rooting for.
Yeah, I had a slight little guess there that who you're voting for. Caleb, what do you think this means for Rachel, JT, and Kalinowski?
Well, I guess I'll start with Kalinowski because he was out first. That I don't know what happened, man. He was one of the most dominant, but kind of understated characters in last year, and then he started this year off totally different. He's I don't know if it's going to be a heel turn or what, but he came in with a whole different attitude and then just totally spaced and missed some easy questions. Like JTH said, I outscored him and I'm okay, but I'm not the best. And that had to hurt. And then going on to JTE, I also had him picked to win this. I thought he was motivated enough, and he just slipped on Billy Joel and was never able to regain that ground. That's all it was. Rachel just picked up every bit of slack. He got the bonus question, got I think 4 steals in the second round, and then hit every single question in comic book movies, which was the nail in Kalinowski's coffin. when she took that off the table, he had no chance of making it back. And she was just incredible, man. It was that performance is like it seems like the first time in Schmoedown history that there's a real, like, I'd say, like, she's got the best odds of any female competitor in the Schmoedown of winning. Not just in terms of like skill, but also who the champ is right now. I mean, Sam's great, but he's had off games, and if luck is against him, Rachel showed that she's not going to give him any wiggle room. Because I mean, I imagine she's going to perform the exact same way with the 5 rounds. She was so dominant, and that's her whole character, not even just her performance. She came out, and that was a whole new side of Rachel, just throwing it back at JTE whenever he said like anything, and was came in way more aggressive and just pile drive through that competition. It was great. Sorry to be so long-winded, but that
no worries. Yeah. So once again, guys, I want to thank everybody for hopping on here. Jeremy, of course, being our special guest today. Jeremy, where can the good kids of the world find you?
You can find me on Twitter at WWEJTH1, and you can also find me on YouTube, JTH, very same name. Hopefully, this coming Wednesday, I can take down Hunter and become the #1 contender for the Wrestling Trivia Showdown Championship and become the first multi-time champion in that league.
Perfect. That's yeah. Next up, Caleb. Caleb, where can everybody find you at?
Yeah, right here on YouTube, Jack of All Trivia, and Facebook, Caleb H, or the Caleb Hansen on Twitter. But you're not gonna get a hold of me on Twitter. I don't ever use it. I think the last thing I tweeted about was the Oscars, like 2014. So good luck reading those old stupid tweets.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, our producer man behind the scenes, Mark of the Canadian Nightmare Porch. I know we got a watch along coming up soon. But where can everybody else find you otherwise?
As you can see right there. Yes, I am the newest member of Apocalypse.
Oh, okay. I thought we didn't realize we were going full steam ahead of that. I thought that was.
No, I got the permission to do it. So.
Okay, because I read the chat and Sean did not seem happy whatsoever. Yeah. So I was trying to hide. I was trying to hide that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, so yeah, it's Apocalypse. Myself, Sean, and Grant.
Like I could have swore that got announced in an earlier match this week by Grant, just kind of like not super formally, but like that they announced that there was a faction. So I know if Sean is still watching the Sean Grant, I do deeply apologize. I could have sworn that was, but I next time I will definitely be a little bit more careful in terms of that regard. And
also. Of course, massive props to Grant for that picture, that image. Like, Grant is effing amazing when it comes to graphics. Like, it's insane how good he is.
Yeah.
Just for me closing off. I am doing a Full Metal commentary. First of the 1994 classic Street Fighter, and also a double header, a comedy classic by a fellow Canadian, Mike Myers, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. And my guest for there is Jessica. Malcolm's joining us for Jessica Morgan. Malcolm's joining us for Austin Powers. And Ryan Permission are the guys that are the people that will be joining me for that. So
Nice.
head over to Full Metal Media on YouTube, and there's links on Facebook if you want to check that out. Thank you.
Sure.
Take care, everyone.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to do a quick little plug here. You can find me on Instagram at PerkyP10. You can find me at my new place. I will not give you the address, but if you know, if you want to try and find me in Prince Edward Island, good fucking luck.
Sure.
I am big or anything.
I am in the middle of Bumblefuck.
I've been there before.
Yeah, it's like we're like north of Who the Fuck Cares and just south of Who Wants to Live Here. But in a serious note, guys, you can find me on Instagram at PerkyB10. You can find me here running Jukebox Trivia, part of the Jack of All Trivia League. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Join it. Yeah, once again, join us on Facebook. Get your name in there if you want to compete in the match. We try to get you in within like the first couple of weeks or so. Once again, thanks. I want to thank the panel for coming on here and shooting the shit, talking some wrestling, some football, and some trivia matches. Be sure to check us out next week. We're going to do this all again, probably at an earlier time. Peace out. Have a good night, guys. Drive safely.
Drive safely. Are we out?